Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would know that the title of tonight's show is Turnaround. And the reason why we can be anticipating a turnaround almost immediately is because there are 6 wonderful planets in the water signs, and they're all trining each other. So there can be quite a bit of sympathetic understanding going on, and it simply means that we can make a dream come true, because there can be a lot of emotional and perhaps financial support right now or in the coming month. And that is because today the moon and Jupiter are both in Cancer, and Cancer rules the home and our emotions and our families, and it rules real estate and the masses and unions and even Congress. And the moon does rule that sign, and Jupiter is exalted there, so that is a very powerful sign. Cancer also rules endings, but with 2 wonderful planets there, somebody could have a very good ending right now, sort of a happy one. Those 2 planets are trining Neptune, which is now direct in Pisces, and Pisces rules dreams. It also rules charity and forgiveness, and it rules the ability to overlook a few things and sort of let bygones be bygones. So that's good. That could help with the turnaround. Those 3 planets are trying another 3 planets. Mercury, Saturn, and the Sun, which is at 29 degrees of Scorpio. So those 3 planets are in a fixed financial sign, Scorpio, which deals with financing and other people's money, or money coming in from any other source. So that is why there may be a turnaround coming up, because a lot of people are drawing together right now. Families are drawing together, and relationships can be greatly strengthened right now simply because we appreciate them a whole lot more. And we can be true to our feelings, almost as if we're coming home to who our really real friends are, and to the value not only of their friendships and of all our relationships, but to our family ties as well, which is wonderful. So a dream could come true due to strong emotional and financial support right now. There's also 3 planets in the earth signs, and they are all trining each other. So Mars in Virgo is trining Pluto and Venus in Capricorn, and they are still closely conjuncting each other, so they're very powerful. Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Scorpio, that fixed financial sign. And so that, because the rulers are trining each other and Venus is along for the ride, that can strengthen the possibility of having additional financial resources right now to help something turn around, which would be wonderful. However, since Scorpio, the sun in Scorpio is at 29 degrees of Scorpio, that means tomorrow it goes into Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is a fast-acting fire sign. That too could be a reason why we can be looking at a turnaround, and that's because the fire signs like action, so the pace could pick up in our lives, or there could be a greater sense of urgency about meeting deadlines or making travel plans. That's what Sagittarius rules, because the sun tomorrow in Sagittarius will be trining Uranus in Aries, which is retrograde, and it will be trining the sign of Leo as well. So I think some people are really going to be quite anxious to get things underway, which is good. However, remember I mentioned there are scarce financial resources. These are not the good old days. And because Saturn is at the sun is at the very last degree of Scorpio, it is sort of now or never as far as getting our budgets together and trying to find extra financing in order to make a dream come true, or even just to survive. So what I think will be happening is that with these 6 planets in the water signs very strongly fortifying each other, I think that that limited financial resources are now being planned for delegation to people who are very hardworking and are very mature and experienced. Because if you don't have too much money around, you at least want to delegate it and have it be used in a productive way by somebody who really knows what they're doing. And that's what I think is happening or will be happening very soon. The limited financial resources will go to those who really are quite experienced and mature and hardworking as well. And that can bring about a turnaround because they are the people that will know how to make a turnaround. And that is something that could help all of us. So there are a number of things that could be accelerating or quickly happening. One of them is that families can really pull together right now and strengthen and be very stable. And that is wonderful. But also a move could be imminent. In other words, since Cancer does rule real estate and it does rule moving, and those two wonderful planets, the Moon and Jupiter, are there, and they're being strongly backed by 4 other planets and water signs, a move could happen to anyone rather quickly right now, and it would tend to go smoothly, and it would tend to be a move that would be quite compatible with other people as well, so it could tend to strengthen relationships. There's another thing that could happen right now, and it is that somebody could make a sudden and abrupt departure because there are still 2 retrograde planets. Uranus is retrograde in Aries, the sign of new beginnings, and Uranus rules sudden change. And it is squaring Jupiter, which is retrograde in Cancer. So somebody could make a very swift departure, and what they may be trying to do is escape from harm. And if they are able to do that, which I think they could, their turnaround would be successful as well. So on many different levels, a turnaround could be initiated now, or it could be completed now as well. But overall, I think it would be successful. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, remember I said Uranus is in your sign, but it's going retrograde, and it is facing quite a bit of challenge from 4 other planets in the cardinal signs. And that is because the Moon and Jupiter in Cancer are squaring Uranus in your sign, Aries, and Venus and Pluto in Capricorn are also squaring your sun sign. And so that simply means with 4 planets in the cardinal signs all squaring Uranus, that makes 5 total in cardinal signs, there can be a difference of opinion between people at work or regarding a budget, and that may adversely affect you. Or there can simply be that somebody either wants to move in or move out, or it could be you that wants to move to a different location, and that could be a little problematic for one reason or another. Maybe the move, maybe a move is imminent, but it would take a lot of work for you right now. So the good news, Aries, is that the sun tomorrow in Sagittarius is going to be trining your sun, and that simply means you may have your mind on travel, and you really should. In fact, if you took a long distance trip, it would do you a world of good, and it would certainly reawaken your perspective and your initiative and make you feel like a brand new person. So I hope you travel over the holidays. All right, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is simply a time when I think that you can benefit from the fact that there are 3 planets in the earth signs. Mars in Virgo is trining your sun, and Venus, your own ruler, and Pluto in Capricorn are also trining your sun. Since Capricorn rules pension and retirement funds and rewards earned over a long period of time, I would say your long-term security is looking real good right now, Taurus, which is wonderful. But there has been a little error of judgment on your part, and that is because, remember I said the sun is at 29 degrees of Scorpio today, and that is the degree of fate. It is exactly, precisely opposing the 29th degree of Taurus in your sign, and that is where there is a blind star. And since these 2 signs are financial signs, it simply means that you have been blind to a financial matter that I don't think is long-term. It's something more immediate. It could have something to do with cash, Taurus. And what I think is that somebody has stated a certain amount of money. And I think that you turned a blind eye to that, that you were not thinking that that could possibly, that they would mean that at all. In fact, if you had been applying for a job and the salary was at this level, maybe you were thinking you could talk them into something higher when it was really stated at this level, and you may have been blind to the acceptance of that, and that could be a disappointment to you. Or if you are trying to sell something, you could think you were going to get a high price, but somebody is coming in only at the price they can afford, and you perhaps had thought that you could talk them into something higher, and that's not true. And so you have been blind to some more immediate financial situation, and that is too bad. That could cost you a little bit, Taurus. So you have two choices. You can either accept a lower price or a lower wage, and because that's all that was stated, that's fair, it was in black and white, or you could back out of something right now. So you'll have to decide what you want to do, Taurus. But unfortunately, it was just something that you overlooked or refused to acknowledge, and now it's going to cost you a little bit. But your long-term security is just fine. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is simply a time, once again, when there aren't any planets in air signs, but other planets can be quite compatible for you. Uranus in Aries, which is retrograde, is actually sextiling your sun, and the two wonderful planets that are in Cancer are right ahead of your sun sign, and that simply means you might benefit from somebody who leaves abruptly, because maybe that could help you in one way or another, since it is a sextile that is occurring with Uranus. And if you are thinking of making a move, this is a perfect time to go ahead and do that. So when I said that a move is imminent, I could have been talking about you, Gemini. And that is because you couldn't find a better time to have those two wonderful planets in Cancer, which rules moving, and being trined by so many other planets, meaning that if you wanted to move, Gemini, and it could be a far distance, because when the sun goes into Sagittarius tomorrow, that does rule a long distance, and that will be opposing your sun sign. So you might have to travel a little bit to find a place that you'd be happy in, but you probably could be very happy in it. And also, or it could be around a church or an educational institution, but this is an excellent time for you to think about moving, Gemini. You just couldn't get better aspects than right now, so I hope you consider it. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, a Cancer, this is simply a time when I think you can do no wrong, and that is because you could be very happy. Remember I said that families draw together now because of the support of the 6 planets in water signs that are all trining each other, and that could be wonderful. Still, Uranus in Aries is squaring your sun, and that means someone could depart rather abruptly right now, either going on a trip, or it can simply be that they want to make a move of some type. I think you're going to be very forgiving and gracious and go ahead and help them anyway if that's what they want, because you are so emotionally and financially secure yourself, Cancer. So you really are going to have a very nice Christmas no matter what anybody else does, because you are very popular, and also you have things in your home and among your family members that are making you feel good in your heart. And that is a wonderful thing. That means that, you know, when your heart is happy, then everything else is all right too. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is simply a time when I think that you can look forward to some sort of turnaround. And the reason why is that when the sun goes into Sagittarius tomorrow, it will be trining your sun, and Uranus in Aries is already trining your sun. It is under duress and it's retrograde, so it's not able to help you out too much right now, Leo. But that sun in Sagittarius tomorrow is going to be helping you out. So Leo, if you have your mind on travel, you should do it. Just try to get away. It will be very refreshing for you if you can do that. Or at least be open to other people coming and seeing you, Leo. That could happen as well. In fact, somebody from a distance could decide that they really want to sort of park themselves on your doorstep, and that would be great. And that is because it would be fun, and you haven't had much fun lately, Leo. So if there's any way that you can take a trip, I hope that you do that. Even if it's on a shoestring budget, it would do you a lot of good. And the reason why I'm talking about the shoestring budget is because the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury are still in Scorpio, squaring your sun sign. The Sun will move on, but Saturn is going to be there for the next 2 years. And that simply means there still is either not enough money to please you, or else there are high costs connected to any income that you've got right now, such as higher taxes or the higher cost of doing business. But you'll just have to absorb that by pulling in your belt a little bit, Leo. And I think what that really means for the next 2 years is that you've got to cut your spending. Remember, I mentioned there were limited financial resources, and what there is around is going to go to people who are very mature and experienced, so they can help make a turnaround that we can all benefit from. And so I don't know if that is the category you're in or not, Leo, but if it is, you still wouldn't be getting enough money to do everything you want, and that is why you'd have to be rather frugal for the next 2 years, but you're building a wonderful future for yourself, so keep that in mind. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when you can certainly benefit greatly from those other 2 planets in Capricorn, which are Venus and Pluto, because they trine Mars in your sign. And a lot of planets are actually benefiting you right now, Virgo. In fact, there are 5 planets in water signs that are all sextiling your sun. That's great for emotional support. So you've got a lot of people around you, Virgo, that really like you, and they are in your corner, not just family, but your friends as well. And your long-term interests can be looking very good. In fact, since Venus does rule Libra, and Libra rules the law, and it is conjuncting Pluto, which can rule management, I think that someone in management is about to make a legal decision that will benefit you, Virgo. And it is because you really deserve it. You've been very hardworking. It also could have a financial benefit to it, but I think it's a legal situation or decision that is in your favor coming up. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time once again when there are no planets in the air sign, so it might feel as if you don't have anybody to talk to that really understands you right now, Libra, and that could be true. Because yours is a cardinal sign, and there are 5 planets in cardinal signs now. So the moon and Pluto in Cancer are squaring your sun, which means other family members have their minds on what they want, and they're not asking your opinion at all. And Venus and Pluto in Capricorn are also squaring your sun, so there can be changes in management that will work out well in the long run, but they're not taking your feelings into consideration right now at all. And Uranus in Aries is opposing your sun sign, so there can be an abrupt departure by someone else who's going on their way. But there are small things that can be comforting to you, and one of them is that when the sun goes into Sagittarius tomorrow, it will sextile your sun. You may have an opportunity to take a trip, Libra, and I strongly urge you to do that because it would be very refreshing and please you very much. Good luck on that. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time with the sun at 29 degrees in your sign that I think you really have got to sum things up right now, and that you can be pleased with where you are. In other words, you've been careful in your planning, and you have a lot of emotional support, and I think some additional financial support at this time. Remember, reduced financial resources will be given to people who are very experienced so that they can make a turnaround that can benefit other people and even help them survive. That might be you, Scorpio. You may be in a position to not only help others, but you may be getting additional resources in order to do that. And I know that you would handle them very well for the benefit of everyone. So if anybody can stretch a dollar, it's going to be you, Scorpio. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, there is a turnaround coming for you, and that's because the sun's going to go into your sign tomorrow, and it will be trining Uranus in Aries, and that simply means that if something didn't get off the ground before, maybe with just a little additional push by you, Sagittarius, you could succeed now. And that is because the pace is picking up everywhere. There can be a sense of urgency about getting things done. For you, it could be additional training or additional learning that could help you make a new start. Or it could be that something that sort of fizzled out before may come back. And I hope that you're available, Sagittarius, because it would do you a world of good. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, remember I said Venus and Pluto are both in your sign and they are trining Mars in Virgo, which simply means that you are a person who really does know what you're doing, and because Mars and Pluto rules Scorpio, which is other people's money, your financial situation could be looking a little bit better right now, or maybe a lot better, Capricorn, which is wonderful. And so you can't have everything, Capricorn. Jupiter and the moon in Cancer are opposing your sun sign, which means that people in your family are wanting to gather among themselves, and either you may not be able to join them due to business reasons, or else they simply want to do things that you don't want to do, so there can be a little sense of estrangement right there. Or it can simply be that you can't be everywhere, Capricorn, so you'll have to make some choices, and I think you're going to choose a good business reason, or you're going to follow policies, or simply do your duty this Christmas, and that's fine. Someone else could leave you abruptly, though, because Uranus is squaring your sun. Uranus is one love planet, and Venus is the other, so there can be a sudden shocking surprise sort of in your love life right now, Capricorn. But as far as business goes, you are doing great. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, there are no planets in the air signs right now, and that simply means that there are no great new creative ideas, or there's no way to spin something right now. And so I think that you are going to have to take advantage of something else that you may have to go back to in order to succeed. Remember, I'm talking about a turnaround. It doesn't mean that everybody's going forward. It may do you more good to sort of go back to square one and start over again, Aquarius, or go back to something that you used to do and try to sort of pick up the threads of that. And the reason why I mentioned going back to something is because your ruler, Uranus, is retrograde right now, but it's in the sign of new beginnings. So you may be able to make a new start right now, Aquarius, and I think that you need to, but it might be that you're able to fall back on resources that you have used before, or relationships that you have known in the past, and maybe that could help you right now. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time with those 6 planets in water signs that, boy, you can really move forward now on making a dream come true, Pisces. So a move may be imminent for you. I'm not saying that you'd have all the money in the world that you want, but there could be additional financial resources around because families are drawing together. They're strengthening both emotionally and financially. And Neptune is now directing your sign. It's been retrograde since last June, but now that it is direct and strongly fortified by the 3 planets in Scorpio and the other 2 in Cancer, it simply means that you really do have a lot of support around you right now, Pisces, and you do have a dream. It may be about opening your own business, or it might be just about moving to somewhere that is more comfortable and at a pace that is more congenial to your temperament. And so you may get a chance to sort of relax right now, and that is because there are going to be other people offering you support in one way or another. So this would be a very good time to move, or at least to be looking around for something that is cozy and affordable, because that could be on your horizon. The Venus in Capricorn is sextiling your sun, so there is the possibility of love in your life as well, Pisces, and it might be to somebody who's a little bit older, but who really does know what they're doing and doesn't have any really big problems. So there are all kinds of ways to make a turnaround right now for all of us, and that is why as the pace picks up and as we have to meet certain deadlines, I think that we are going to be able to do that because we'll have more confidence from knowing that other people really care about us and that there are additional financial resources. They're just going to be delegated to people who are very hardworking, so I hope all of you are committed to that. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that you will, know that you can see the show anytime you want on our website, starborninstitute.org. And we are, in the weeks to come, particularly the first 2 weeks of January, we are going to be making predictions for the whole year by sun sign and by month. So you have that to look forward to. All right, thanks so much. We'll see you here next week for Starborn. Bye.